Well, welcome everybody, and thank you for coming along with me as we do a tour of the kitchen. Many folks have always wondered what goes on behind those walls. How do we produce 600 plus meals every day? It doesn't happen by accident, I'll tell you that. There's a lot of deliberate planning that goes into every single thing that we do in the kitchen. And at the beginning of it all, we have to focus on sanitation. I can tell you that we are very blessed. I'll say this and I'll knock wood, that our kitchen has gone 3 years in a row without any violations during the annual state inspection. When the state comes here to do the inspection on our health center, they stay here for 4 to 5 days. And during that time, we are being inspected, re-inspected, or just having observations. Needless to say, it's a huge task to make sure that we can pass an ACA inspection without any deficiencies. And we have done so for 3 years in a row. We also, in addition to having the state inspect us on an annual basis for a week, we have the health department comes in here on a quarterly basis. We also have our corporate liaisons come in here to review and inspect, as well as our executive director and our health center administrator. There are a lot of eyes on the kitchen all the time. And beyond all of those eyes, there are my watchful eyes, there's Chef Larry and Chef Bill's watchful eyes, as all of the members of my leadership team are all focused and dedicated to make sure that we run a safe, clean kitchen, because one mistake on our end can be detrimental to the health of everybody that lives here. So we take this very seriously. So before we go into the kitchen, a couple things we have to do. I'm going to put on my face mask so I don't contaminate anybody. And I'll also put on my hair restraint. And now I'll reach into our box full of hair restraints and I'll give one to the cameraman. Here you are, cameraman.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, while he's getting suited up, we'll get ready to go into the kitchen. Okay, so now we're in the kitchen. We're in the dish room area, and I want to start by introducing our senior dish person. This is Pat Connick. Hi. I hired Pat back in 2001, and she's still with me. That's amazing. So Pat does a great job for us, but you're probably busy, aren't you? I don't mean to slow you down. Okay. So, a little bit about our dish room. One of the ways people always get concerned, how do we make sure that the dishes are sanitary? Especially the green containers. People ask me a lot of times, how do you get those green containers clean and sanitary and free of germs? So our dish machine washes with 150 degrees minimum wash water and 180 degrees hot water for sanitizing. 180 will kill all the germs. So clean is the absence of dirt, sanitary is the absence of germs. We get both bases covered with the dish machine, which is right here in the background. So our pots and pans are sanitized with a chemical. We use a quaternary chemical at a ratio of 200 parts per million. That our pots and pans sit in a sanitizing sink for 30 seconds after they've been washed and rinsed. So that's how we keep our pots and pans clean. That's how we keep our dishes and our Go Green containers clean. All right, so here we are in the heart of the kitchen. And as I said at the beginning, that we prepare around 600 meals a day. So in addition to all of the meals that we cook for the residents, which includes in our residential assisted living, our admissions transition unit, which used to be called the rapid recovery unit, our health center, and then what used to be called our main dining room, which is now your dining room, as we deliver meals to all of the residential apartments, as well as in Magnolia, North Point, Southwood, and Eastwood. So we're delivering all of these meals, as well as serving in all of the different dining rooms for our clinical areas. In addition to that, we're still doing Meals on Wheels every day. And when business resumes some level of normal, then we go back to doing catering as well. Previously, we were also catering to the Rotary, which had a meal every week. We had the Center on Aging, which is a group that we cater to twice a week off campus. And we also do a pretty robust amount of catering throughout this property under normal conditions. We will soon learn what the new normal is when Governor DeSantis tells us to. So in the meantime, as you can see, we have one of our cooks, Randall, working on fried chicken, which is going to get boxed up for service the next day. Randall's been with us for about 6 months or so, and he is doing a fantastic job. You can see that he puts a lot of work and love into what he's doing. Standing next to him is our other cook, T-Lock, and T-Lock has been with us for around 15 years, and he's doing a fantastic job. I don't know what we'd do without the man. T-Lock replaced his uncle when his uncle retired, who was here for over 10 years and retired at the age of 82. So we have a lot of family blood going on over here. Anyhow, in the kitchen production area, you can see that we have a steamer, we have two sets of convection ovens, we have 2 fryers, we have a flat grill. Behind it, we have 2 kettles, as well as what's called a Swiss tilting brazier. We have warming boxes all over the place. There's a warmer over here. There's a warmer underneath this counter. There's a warmer over there and another warmer on the other side of the kitchen. All of these warmers is how we prepare the food and keep it warm while it's getting ready for transit to whichever dining room it's going to be going to. Okay. Okay, I'm standing over here in the salad department right now. It's in the mid-afternoon and our daily salad person has finished her prep and has gone home for the day. But this is the section where our lovely Nay normally works, and Nay is our primary salad person. And she is responsible for so many of the wonderful JC salads and Caesar salads and Waldorf salad, and Greek salad, and the list goes on and on. So we are very blessed in this kitchen that we actually have a separate salad area. A lot of kitchens that produce the number of meals that we do are roughly half the size. We're very, very fortunate to have all of this space. In the salad area, they have their own little small reach-in salad cooler, and then right next to it we have our produce walk-in, and then next to that we have a walk-in cooler just to thaw out our meats and do prep. I'll show that to you next. All right, so we get fresh produce approximately 4 to 5 days a week. So you'll notice on our menu that we have very little vegetables that are not cooked from fresh. And as you can see in here, we have this whole cooler is dedicated just to serving fresh fruits and vegetables. You're also seeing some items that are being prepped today to be cooked tomorrow. Looks like we have some Napa cabbage that's cut up. You'll notice that it's sitting in this container, properly labeled and dated to make sure that we have proper rotation of product and we never serve anything that is too old. All right, so now we'll walk over to the next cooler that we have. All right, so inside this cooler is where we have our raw meats that we buy within a couple days of service. And all of these carts with the bags on them, these are what we call prep carts. We have our breakfast prep, we have lunch prep, we have dinner prep, and other prep. And everything has its own place. We also keep our milk in this cooler because this is one of our coldest ones. And we make sure that we keep a rotation of product all the time. That's the way we maintain the best freshness of food. All right, so now we're in the bakery area. We do fresh baked products every day. When you see the pies that we serve, all of our fruit pies come in frozen, ready to bake. So the pies that we're serving you were baked in our ovens and are cut and sliced and plated up for you fresh every day. Our dinner rolls are proof and bake, so all of those you'll see in the morning laying out on sheet pans get nice and big and fluffy, getting ready to go into the oven to be baked to their wonderful goodness. We also are blessed in this kitchen to have our own bakery area. Again, kitchens that produce this volume of food typically don't have a separate area for baking and a separate area for salads, but we have it. And not only that, but we have a baker's area with a view of Julington Creek. You'll never see that anywhere. This is just wonderful. We are a very, very well-equipped kitchen, and it's bright, it's airy, and we have plenty of space to do everything that we need to do. Also in here you'll see boxes like this. This is a hot box where we prepare food and keep it warm and get it ready to be sent to one of our different dining rooms, and next to that is a proofing box. And then over here alongside the wall we have our own freezer dedicated just for the bakery area. So we're pretty well equipped, and having all of this equipment does require a lot of maintenance, which we have a great staff that takes care of all of our equipment. We keep things running, and we have no shortage of stuff to work with. So one of the things that we're very famous for in this kitchen is our soup. All of our soups are made from scratch every day. And if you're wondering how much soup we prepare, I can tell you this in a word. 20 gallons of soup come out of this pot every day to feed everybody on this property, and sometimes we have to make a little bit more. Years ago I was very happy when we got this 12-gallon kettle, but then we're filling that thing up twice a day. So now, when possible, depending on the type of soup, we'll make one large batch of 20 gallons and then keep it warm and ready for the next meal. And then behind that you'll see we have a 6-burner gas stove, and then behind that is what we call a tilting kettle. So we have no shortage of equipment, as I've said, and the blessing and the curse of having so much equipment means we have a lot of stuff that has to be maintained and cleaned every day. One of the facts about working in food service is that we do a lot of cleaning. Talk for just a minute about our walk-in cooler and walk-in freezer. In this hallway we have a cooler freezer combo unit that was recently replaced. Back in January we had it shut down and decommissioned. This was a process that began well over a year ago, almost a year and a half ago. I started getting quotes for the project to replace this cooler freezer, and I had to do so because the insulation within the walls had just started to lose its ability to separate the hot from the cold. And when that happens, the walls fill up with water, the insulation fills up with condensation, which then bleeds out, and it also gives the compressors a more difficult time to maintain the temperature. So after about 35 years, it was time to decommission this cooler freezer combo unit. So during that time, it took just shy of 5 weeks. We worked out of a freezer truck during that whole time, and then some, because of the time it took in loading it and unloading it. It was quite a job. Also, during the same time that we were working out of a truck and dealing with the mess from this renovation, we also had a renovation going on the second floor health center, as the dining room was getting a facelift up there as well. So during this time, we watched as they ripped everything out. We watched as we had a professional company come in and sanitize the area around it. We had other technicians working in the area above it. And when everything was clean and sanitary and ready to go, they built this box from the ground up to our specifications. One of the other beautiful things that we improved on is the previous freezer cooler had 2 doors, and this one has 1 door to the outside, as you can see over here. And now to enter the freezer, you have to walk through the refrigerator, which also helps the freezer operate with more efficiency. So we're very proud of this unit, if you can't detect that in my voice. And having a cooler freezer that we can rely on is paramount, because when it goes down, we don't have enough space to absorb everything here. So if it does go down and we can't get it fixed within a few hours, we're bringing in a freezer truck, and we don't want to do that ever again. So we're in great shape. Now we'll go into the freezer and I'll show you what it looks like in here. Alright, so now we're inside our third walk-in cooler, the newest member to our walk-in cooler family. And inside this box, this is where we are doing our staging for the food that's being delivered to the different apartment buildings. And you can see inside these bins what kind of production it takes to get prepared to send out. Now, the way that we're doing our deliveries, as all of our people in apartments and villa homes know, is you're receiving your food cold. Now, what's of critical importance in this whole process of, now that we've moved from fine dining to an assembly line, is that the food has to be maintained below 41 degrees at all times. So we prepare our hot food in advance and we rapidly cool it, and then when it's sufficiently cold and below 40 degrees is when we start working on it. Inside these boxes represents all of the food that's delivered throughout the whole campus, and we use these sheets so that we know who's getting delivered to which building. This is the delivery roster for the Azalea building. This is the delivery roster for the Camellia building, and so on and so on. As you can see, we have food ready to go on throughout this whole cooler. And before the food gets boxed up, we'll take a quick glance in the walk-in freezer now. And you can see the fried chicken that we're getting ready to box up for the next day. This chicken, which you saw Rondell preparing a little while ago, is getting rapidly chilled. We have to get it below 70 degrees in less than 2 hours. And then we have 4 hours to get it from below 70 to below 40. So those are the parameters that we work with, and we do take it very seriously. So this is the end of how you can see all of our refrigeration. And I just want you to leave here realizing that we work with fresh, premium food. Everything we do with care and love. We want to make sure that you enjoy the meals as much as we enjoy preparing and serving them. Now let's go to the storeroom. Now we're in our last storage area. This is our dry storeroom. We keep ingredients such as pasta and rice and Chef Bill.
Hello, everybody.
So, as I was mentioning, our emphasis on fresh, I just want you to see what kind of items that you'll see on our shelves in the storeroom here. And this is right after we just got a delivery. We have a few boxes left to unload, but we have items such as some tomato products, some baked beans, some crushed pineapple and prunes, of course, and peaches, pudding, black-eyed peas. You're not going to see stuff like carrots and green beans and zucchini. You're not going to find those items coming out of a can in our storeroom, because what we serve is all fresh. We have minimal amount of canned products, and that's kind of one of the things I'd like you to take away from this tour, is how little dry goods and how much fresh goods and frozen that we have, because quality is key for what we do here.